Shalom, Yasharalis, the brother Ash Abba, coming back in spirit. As always, I give all honor and praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah. Double honors to all you brothers pushing the truth and fullness and sincerity. Big shalom to y'all brothers keeping the faith, law, statutes, commandments. And all you Akwak being submissive servants to your husband, or, diligently waiting for the Lord to bless you with a head to get you out of your confusion. And hey, man, I hope all y'all brothers, hope this lesson is edifying for y'all. The title is Israelite women / marriage / dealing with women in 2022. A lot of brothers ask me questions. I may be on the phone with Ox. Women is just it's on the brother mind, bro. I don't care how holier than thou you are or how much of a worldly nigga you are. Women is always going to be the topic of conversation. And when you move through the world, there's a lot of freedoms and liberties that you could do with a woman. You can have threesomes. You can have multiple women. You can go out and date with women. You could do all these things because you are on to do what thou will. You're on that Delimah energy. But when you get into the truth, you get into the understanding. What do you get? You gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of what the Most High demands of you. And the Most High wants to sanctify you to separate you from, the world around you. Let me get that in the book of, if I'm thinking off the top of my head, it's in 1 Corinthians. I'm going to go to chapter 6, verse 13. I'll get that in a little bit, actually. I think it's actually 1 Corinthians 13. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it says to separate yourself from non-believers, right? Or this is it right here, actually. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness, and what concord has Hamashiach with Belial? And what path has he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement has the temple of Yahweh with idols? For you are the temple of the living power, as Yahweh has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. So I want to, or right here, 17. Wherefore come out from among you and be separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So when it comes to this truth, when it comes to this understanding, one big hurdle for a lot of brothers is overcoming women. We come from a standpoint where we, as a man, bro, I used to want to be a player. I used to want to have 3-4 bad bitches on rotation, easy access. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have a woman fall in love with me and do everything that my heart desired when it came to, having her, wrapped around my finger. But at the end of the day, when you come into this truth, you understand one thing about the woman is that she can be your greatest blessing or she could be your greatest obstacle. You see what I'm saying? So when you move as a man in this truth, you got to move with discretion, wisdom, understanding. You have to move from a position of power, and you have to also understand that at any time Satan can come into a strange woman and take you off the path. And you obviously read that throughout the scriptures, right? I have a lot of brothers ask me and talk about women, younger brothers who might be my age, older brothers. So I give you my perspective because at the end of the day, we're all different. This is the book of Matthew 5 and 19. It says, for whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments and shall teach men, so he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So you got to understand, we're all being judged on the scale of wickedness and righteousness. Of course, we're not on the level of Yahweh Shai. We can't be, and we never will be. There'll never be a man on his level. But at the end of the day, there are levels to your devotion to the truth. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these things are being determined by the liberty that you may have on a day-to-day basis. The Lord judges each and every one of us according to our works. So not every brother has the same mind. And especially if you're not in the camp, you're not in the congregation, you're going to look at certain things and live a different lifestyle than another brother. But at the end of the day, you have to understand a few things. First things first, what is marriage? Just a quick summary. Marriage is a contract, a covenant between two people. And I'm not talking about with Esau, Edom. I've seen brothers sit here and say, if you want to take a woman, an Israelite woman as, your wife, you got to have enough balls to sign that paper, bro. You got to go to the courtroom and sign that paper, bro. You was man enough to have sex with her. You should be man enough. Nah, bro, you tripping. Never, ever put a third person in your relationship with a woman except Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Unless it's a high priest who has direct authority and is working with the Most High directly, don't do that. There used to be times in the ancient world where a woman, they would think she was a cheater. They would think the woman was defiled, and they would go to the priest, and he would do a special a work. I don't know off the top of my head, but I was reading in Numbers or Leviticus maybe a week or two ago, and he would do a ritual, he would do an act to deem if that woman was cheating or not. So you got to understand, we're nowhere near that. None of us can perform, works. None of us can. I can read this in the book of Second Ezra as well. Let me see. Okay, this is it right here. This is Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 52. And he said unto me, like as you can neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son or those that be with him, but in the daytime. So Aaron was with Yahushua. Elijah was with Yahushua. Why? Because they could perform spiritual work, spiritual acts that none of us on this level can. I don't care if you're an elder in GMS, you've been in this truth for 30 years, Watchman for Israel, Quam, you got these cold breakdowns. There's nobody that can do spiritual works and heal and perform certain cleansing rituals to allow you to get this understanding. There's nobody working directly with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. So at the end of the day, that was the only time that you would have another man or somebody interject in your relationship, right? That's not the case today. None of us have that true understanding. So a woman has to get her understanding from you. So if you're trying to put not only just another man or somebody in your congregation to be a part of your relationship, but on top of that, you're trying to put Esau Edom, the one who just sees you as an asset, a tool, a slave, who wants to put the woman over you, to rule over you, and he does it purposely, you will be a damn fool. Don't ever do that. But you also got to understand, Salakia, that marriage is the highest form of love. It's the highest form of relationship. It's the highest form of connection, right? And I always tell brothers, I was watching Chronicles of Judah, his series on adultery and fornication, and he said that, and I agree with him. He said that when you're dealing with a woman, you should always deal with her on a level where you might, have something more substantial. That's how I've always been. I never been, even before I was in the truth, I never been a man who just wanted to smash and dash and pump the gas and peel off on the broad. You know what I'm saying? Because first and foremost, these women are defiled. I don't even like to deal with a lot of women. If she don't look right, if she don't act right, in my mind, she just is not really. I'm not a nigga where I'm gonna just swipe on Tinder and I'm gonna see a John for the night and be like, oh, that's cool. I can't do that, right? And there's other stipulations that come with that. But at the end of the day, for me, it's better to have something that's genuine and, is more, favorable in my eyes than just having these little things. But getting into it, right? This is Sirach chapter 30. And it also comes with a level of uncleanliness in the eyes of the Lord when you do that. But this is the book of Sirach 36 and 4. Salakia 24. It says, the man that gets a wife beginneth the possession and a help like unto him in a pillar of rest. Wherefore no hedge is, there is possession is spoiled, and he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning. Let's be real. The reason why we talk about women all the time is because we love women. You want to have a woman. The Most High wouldn't have put women in there if he didn't know that was pleasing. The Most High wouldn't have made Eve if he didn't know that was pleasing to Adam. So getting a wife is a great thing. Getting a wife is what most men should strive for. I'm gonna be real. If you a man in the truth, you should want a wife. You should want 3 wives. You should want concubines. The more the merrier. I'm just messing with y'all. Don't end up like Solomon. But a man having women in his life is a great thing. But you got to use everything with context. We live in what? Mystery Babylon, Whore Babylon, the great whore, being run by who? The man of perdition, the man of sin. So the vast majority of women are in this society are literally a stumbling block for you on your path. And it's extremely rare for you to find not only a woman who's submissive, who's attentive, and who looks good, but the biggest factor, and this is the biggest X factor that all you men got to understand if you choose to want to, deal with a woman on that level, is her spirit resonating with this truth? Because Amos 3:3, can 2 be together lest they be agreed? If the woman in you is not agreeing on a spiritual tip, if she don't want to follow the commandments, she don't want to stop, she doesn't want to do anything, she don't want to hear anything from the scriptures, she's always going to be defiled in your eyes, right? Let's get this in the book of 2 Corinthians. I'm going to go to chapter 6 real quick. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 6, and I'll start at verse 16. And what agreement had the temple of Yahweh with idols? For you are the temple of the living power, and the Most High has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come from among them and be you separate, said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So this is talking about spiritual defilement. Obviously, in that time, there's a lot of people in the church of Corinth who are, dealing with idols, a lot of pagan practices, a lot of heathen customs, because Corinth is in obviously the land of Greece during the Greco-Roman, the Roman Empire. They had rulership over that area, so they're doing a lot of things, defiled meat, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a good thing. But the main reason I want to say, you are the temple of the living power. So there are many different temples because our body is a temple. When we are in this truth and we are sanctified in this truth, we become a temple of the Lord, right? So again, not only this, but the other scripture says, you are the temple of the Lord. Don't join your body unto a harlot. So in the eyes of the Lord, the main form of sex that is deemed as clean is marital sex. It is what it is, bro. There's no getting around it. Let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4, right? It says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed is undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers Yahweh will judge. So what is it saying in the first verse? It's saying that sex within a marriage is honorable above all. The Most High doesn't see it as unclean at all. Now, of course, when you spill your seed, you will be unclean for that specific moment. And when you have sex in general, you will be seen as unclean. But in the eyes of the Lord, when you have marital sex with a woman who's in the truth just like you, that is deemed the highest. That's why throughout the scripture, the Most High always warned our people to not have sex with strange women, not because the act of sex was unclean, but the spiritual connotation between the two bodies was unclean, right? So there's many different levels of cleanliness in this thing. So in the eyes of the Lord, marriage is honorable and that bed is undefiled. So you got to understand that. But at the end of the day, the Most High understands that we in the land of whores, right? So if you don't got a wife, you don't got a woman who meet those criteria and is doing those things just like you, she's automatically going to be undefiled. So realistically, you in between a rock and a hard place. The scriptures is telling you, you need to deal with prudence, and that you can't be too hasty to have to credit a strange woman, right? But at the same time, Most High made you have some type of lustful desire for women. So this is balancing act. You got to be able to verify what type of man you are. Are you a man who can go without, or are you a man who got to have sex from time to time? Everybody's different. We are not the same. I'm a Martian. You know what I'm saying? There's brothers I know who've been on this no fap for 3-4 months. There's brothers who can't go 4-5 days. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a dude who can sit here and not busting up for a month. Like it's not. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'll never say nothing's not possible with the Lord, but certain brothers got certain strengths compared to other brothers, man. So even though marriage is the highest form and all of us brothers would want to be married and have 3-4 wives and concubines, it's not realistic. It's not possible. But at the end of the day, it's a balancing act because these things are just tests to us. The Lord put us in such a defiled land to see who would do their best to strive for righteousness and who would just do, just what they got to do, bro. So I want to get into it. The main thing is that if you brothers do want to get married, you can't think like this is the ancient world and you just meet a fine woman, you come into her and say, hey, you my wife for life. That's not how it works, Playboy. First and foremost, she has to be playing under the same rules as you. You get what I'm trying to explain to you? You can't go into a basketball game with 11 players. 11 players on the field and somebody have 7. You're going to have an unfair advantage. You cannot sit here and be moving on a righteous tip based off of what our forefathers did, and she's playing from the rules of Mystery Babylon. It's not going to work out. You're literally going to put yourself in a disadvantage. You should never, ever, ever do that, right? You got to move with prudence. You got to move like how your enemy moves. Remember, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. We're wise to understand the truth about what's going on. We're wise to understand the truth about what Yahweh deems as righteous and clean when it comes to dealing with women, but we got to be as harmless as a dove. Because if you go out and say I'm an Israelite, and when we have sex, you're going to be my woman from the start, the woman's not even going to deal with you. And more importantly, the Lord's not dealing with her. So you can't even have a covenant. Again, a covenant is between two parties. If one person believes and the other person didn't even care to think about it, then it is what it is. Now, if you come into the truth and you're already married to her, then that's completely different, because even though she's a non-believer and you're a believer, she can be saved through you. You get what I'm saying? But just getting into the point, let me continue on though real quick, right? So the main thing you gotta understand, and I wanted to get this little picture from this dude, and look, he had a good picture when it came to this topic about 2 weeks ago, where he was talking about the process of marriage. But he's honestly bugging out, talking about the chariots of the Lord aren't UFOs, talking about there is no physical circumcision. The brother Nor 144, he off, bro. Like I watched some of his things and he was cool, but now the brother just literally going off in left field, right? But he did come out with a good a stepping stone for certain brothers. Where if you want to have a woman and Salaki, you want to have a woman, you want to have a female that you're courting, and you want to see the process of how you should do it. So that way you're following the law of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. You're following what the Most High commands of you, but at the same time, you're not, losing a good prospect. This is a good way. And shalom to my brother Akram. Hey, it's funny. I did this for you, not just for you, but other brothers been asking me. But I knew you asked me those questions, so at the end of the day, I was like, okay, cool. Now, this is going to be related to a woman who's in the truth, right? We're going to do a woman who's in the truth first, and then a woman who's not in the truth, bro. All right? So this is what he said was the process. So he said the brothel process, basically to take a woman, quote unquote, right, to be your wife, right? First and foremost, to get consent from her parents if they're in the truth. Or if they're not in the truth, then the elder in the truth. And like I said earlier, I think this is off, right? And I'm explaining the reason why. Because yes, a woman, if she's in the truth, you ask her father if it's solid. I mean, that's cool. As far as the elder in the truth, I completely disagree, and I'm gonna tell you, and I'm explaining the reason why. Let me actually, I'm not gonna explain it. I'm gonna read the scriptures that's gonna explain it. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. We're gonna start at chapter 11, verse 3, right? It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. So you got to understand, the head of every woman is the man. So if a woman sees an elder, like let's say Deacon Sakari, or let's say General Yohanan from ISUPK or whatever, in a higher regard than you, you're already in you starting off in a bad spot. And I'm explaining the reason why. Women like to monkey branch. Women flock to power. Women flock to notoriety. If a woman that you get, you got to get the consent from an elder. Basically, what you're showing in the mind of the woman is that, yeah, this is my husband. I listen to him sometimes, but if things ain't going good, then I'm going to go to the elder. Why? Because the elder been in the truth longer. If he tells me a certain breakdown of the scripture and I don't like it, I'm going to go to the elder because he can understand it. And what you're doing is you're going to allow that woman to become confused. You see, the reason why most modern day women in this society are so confused is because they get all this information, not only from other bugged out women who don't want to see each other in a good position, but they go to a lot of men. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, so many men, DM. And in the truth, it's no different. There's more dudes in the truth than women in the truth. So if a woman don't like you, she don't like what you putting down, she's not gonna mess with you. I was talking to a woman, things was going good. And then they got into the issue of polygyny, right? I told her that it's not unlawful. I didn't even say that I wanted to be polygynist at that moment, but I told her that it's not unlawful. She didn't like what I said. She heard from other people saying that that's off and you shouldn't do this. And this society only allows one man and one woman, but she didn't even understand. She's trying to go against me, not realizing what the Bible said. So there was too many voices, too many serpents in her ear. When at the end of the day, the only person who's supposed to be speaking sweet nothings was me. You know what I'm saying? The man who's supposed to be your head. Now, we obviously wasn't married or nothing like that. But at the end of the day, we were in that process. So, Shalom, Sanjan. So this is the main thing, brothers. If a woman is in the truth or not in the truth, the main thing that you have to test for is she going to follow you, not another man? And that's different, right? And I'm explaining the reason why. Because the man that most women follow in this society is Esau Edom, who tells them what? You can get free benefits. You can get these things. You can dress like a slut, and you can do whatever you want, especially if you're a so-called black woman or a so-called colored woman. You can do whatever you want, and regardless of what that man inside of your household or anything like that is telling you, his rule doesn't matter. Your rule is above him as long as you follow what I'm telling you to do. So if a woman is willing to break her natural programming to go against you as a man, that is a great sign, because that's a spiritual thing. The Most High Yahweh is allowing that woman to be submissive, because y'all brothers got to understand, a woman trying to rule over a man is a spiritual curse. I get this in the book of Jeremiah chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 11, right? Jeremiah 3, Salaki, I'm tripping, Isaiah 3 and 11. Hey, man, I'm getting a little rusty, man. What's up with me, man? All right, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12, Salaki. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. So that's a spiritual curse that the Lord has put upon our men in this society. So if a woman is willing to go against that, and she sees you as a spiritual head, great sign. If she's coming to you for spiritual advice, great sign. If she's coming to you, asking how she can improve her monetary how she can improve her mindset, how she can get, better off physical, like, improve her body health wise, or, with supplements and things like that. If she's coming to you for her source of information, great sign. So when this brother said get consent from an elder in the truth, that's off. Now that's off, bro, because you're going to have another man in your business. And look, if you young, if you 16, 17, 18, 19, okay. But if you a man like me, I'm 26. Sanjan, my brother, I think he's around 30. Akrim, probably around my age. You should have enough knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in a good baseline of the scriptures where the woman is coming to you and nobody else. You can't have too many people in your business, not only when it's talking about being in the world, but especially with a woman who's in the truth, because the society is against you. So the only defense that she's going to have is to come to her man. So if she can't even come to her man, if she can't trust you to come to you and leave everybody else out of it, then that's going to bring a lot of chaos and a lot of drama and a lot of problems that you don't want. Because however you start off the relationship, it's only going to get worse. If you started off solid foundation, you may have some rocks in the road, but you can keep it pushing. Whereas if you starting off, oh, I'm going to this elder and that camp and this elder, it's not going to work out, bro. Now, he said the next thing is that you should court, proving 6 to 12 months. Do this at your own discretion. The reason why this is important is because in this society, women do not show you who they are immediately. Women have a lot of demons. Women have a lot of skeletons in their closet. I remember I was talking to a maybe 2 weeks ago, and something happened with him and his wife. He was supposed to put her away, right? But basically, long story short, somebody has said, because of that, if a woman gets baptized in the name of Yahweh Shai, then that shows that she's solid and she's devoted. And look, I have nothing against that, but you cannot sit here and tell me a one-time act is going to completely change a woman. Bro, you got to understand, these women have a lot of spirits. They have a lot of demons. They have a lot of trauma in their life. And the only thing that's going to truly change them, I'm going to answer your question in a second. Let me finish this real quick, Akrim. The only thing that's going to change them is the word. Again, John, I think it's John 11. Let me see if I can find it. Or John 15 and 11. Oh, this is it right here. John 15 and 3. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. You can have a woman do a one-time act, but if she's not hearkening on to the word in fullness and sincerity, she can't be changed just like that. She can't go from a whore into a housewife just like that. Yes, Yahweh Shai can, if you believe in Yahweh Shai can remit your sins because he's a son of the Lord. He's a son of God, right? So when that harlot came up to Yahweh Shai, and he was like, oh, woman, where's your husband? And she said, oh, I have one. He's like, no, you've had 4 before. And then also when there was a time with the Pharisees where they wanted to kill that adulterous woman and he pardoned her sins, he has the power to do that. We don't. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that type of power. And more importantly, we can't read a woman's mind. How wish I could read that woman's mind and see that she genuinely repented for what she did and she wanted to become a new woman. None of you brothers can see that just like that. You got to sit here and vet the woman because, again, what's the famous saying out there? The devil is in the details. A woman doesn't show you who she is right off the bat when you uncover that one layer, then the second layer, then the third layer. Then you start to see, okay, she might be kind of lazy. Okay, she might like to look at other men on Instagram. Okay, she did this. Okay, she did that. Because a woman can only act for so long. Eventually, that truth's going to come out with her. And if you brothers follow Professor Migtal, and I don't tell you to get his spiritual advice, but one thing that he said that's extremely vital if you men want to date a woman in modern time society is you want her to reveal her mask and show you who she really is. So that way she can truly be herself around you. Because if you're being yourself around her and you're being, transparent, and she tells you all these things and she's telling you all the sick shit she did before, but she's truly wanting to change, then you can trust her a lot more than a woman who's just acting. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's important for you to have that courting period. Now, however long you feel that that's deemable, that's up to you, brothers. I can't sit here and tell you what that is. Me, if I'm talking to a woman, in 3 months, she got to be perfect. She cannot mess up. And if she has some type of slip-ups on the road, then I'm going to increase it from 3 months to 4 months to 5 months to 6 months, however long till I feel like she's worth my time. Now, let me answer your question, brother. Said, out of curiosity, if you don't mind, how long were you talking to a female before she went away? With that chick, it was only 3 weeks. Again, only 3 weeks, bro. So she was doing things like that, and she kind of slipped up in 3 weeks, and she started to be a little bit rebellious and not want to follow my lead. How much more when she's living in my house? How much more when she's relying on me for things? She not gonna listen. It shows she didn't have full respect of me because you already doing this shit in 3 weeks. Imagine if we was dating for 3-6 months. Imagine if we got married. Now I'm bound to you for who knows how long because you in the truth and you understand the truth. Hey, what's up, Green?
Left my phone.
You about to come back? You about to go back out?
We got done already.
Okay.
I got in there about 10 to 9 and he did us so we were at 15 after 9.
Hey, brothers, I'm gonna finish this in a sec. I'm gonna go back live again.